No, the title is not clickbait. I genuinely believe this. There is a Japanese. I actually have it in front of me here because I can't remember. Shinto, so I assume it's like a parable, a proverb, something like that. But it comes from Japan. It's called a misogi, and in the modern world, we what we mean by that is by doing at least one thing every year that is very, very physically demanding. And the idea being every at least once a year you have something to show for it. So for me personally, last year this was doing a photo shoot. Bit of context. End or sorry, yeah, sorry, can't even speak when I'm on camera. Stage fright. End of last, end of 2024 actually. God, we're getting old. End of 2024, start of January 2025 was perhaps the hardest period of my life. I was not said this on camera before, but I was suicidal. I genuinely started to completely neglect how I looked, how I carried myself, and life was a living nightmare. I actually couldn't cope without medication, but thank God for the pain because it got me into therapy, it got me on the medication, it got me the help I needed, and it started a complete U-turn in my life. I'm still working on many things, there's a lot of work to be done, but there's silver lining, I guess. Anyway, that was my big thing. I started with a coach during that period, and what I said to him is, let's just do something extreme. Like, let's just do a photo shoot, right? Because I was a coach at that stage of 1.5 years, maybe coming up to 2, and I was a decent coach already, but I was fat, and I would admit that, right? Not like fat for a coach. I was fat. To some people, like I did have people say this. Oh, you weren't fat. You're better shape than most people. I don't care. As someone who had coaches in a title, it's a responsibility. I was fat, and as a coach, how can I tell people, oh, do this, do that? How can I tell people how to stay on track, how to navigate the obstacles we face in life when I can't do it myself? And that, I suppose that applies from the mental standpoint too. You know, that's why I'm very like pro therapy and speaking about how you feel and being real, because we are real life humans and we shouldn't taboo these things because they happen. That was my misogi last year. I hope I'm saying that right. Misogi, yeah. That was my misogi last year. And it completely changed the way I look. It gave me like a brand new canvas. And from July, when I did the photo shoot, to start of February, so what's that? July, August, September, October, November, so say 7 months or so. I actually only put on 6 kilo, which is actually very impressive, right? But I didn't get fat again, which is the point. So even when I got out of shape again, compared to where I was originally when I got fat, I still look good. You know, we could definitely see some definition, especially around the arms, legs, etc., veins. And unless you saw me with my top off, you'd still say I'm in pretty good shape, right? But oh, where's my Google Calendar? You should all have a Google Calendar. Get on that. But point being, I am now going on holiday actually in a week, and at the start of February I was like, right, I'm going to get in killer shape for it, so I just fully sent it, really, really aggressive deficit. Now I feel terrible. I really, like, all I can think about is food. I mean, the craziest meals you've ever seen just to be able to get some fibre and fats into me. But despite all of this, I'm in better nick now than I was in the photo shoot. I have no shame in saying this, I look incredible. Okay? I feel incredible. I feel more confident. I know I just said I feel terrible, but I feel incredible about myself. Very confident. Every time I take my top off to do some photos or some shots for check-ins, or just after I get a pump, I'm like, I can't believe this is me. And I don't just look good, I look undeniably good. So it's not like, oh, I look good in this light, and I just look good. And I've no shame in saying that, because I've spent so much of my life denying the shape I was in and having these lower standards. Now I just can't explain it. It just does something to you that nobody can take away from you because you did the work, right? You lifted the weights. You ate 70 grams of spinach with each meal just to get a bit of volume in. You said no to all the McDonald's and even the small things like your extra portions of rice, your biscuits, your pints, whatever. And obviously you have your refeeds and days of diet breaks, etc. But you have to say no a lot. That teaches you like extreme discipline because it doesn't matter how tired you are, doesn't matter what's going on in your life, like you have to show up. The deficit has to continue. And the reason I was inspired to make this video was because I watched, I'll get the title up now, Jillian Michaels versus the body positivity movement, and the people in this video, most of them were fat. And it is a tough topic to navigate, body positivity. Jillian Michaels, who I'd never heard of before, don't really know much about her, but the point she generally makes is that it's not so much that you're pro like this body positivity, you want fat people to feel essentially good about themselves. It's where the actual original wound was. Was it childhood trauma? Was it teenage trauma? Did something unfortunate happen to you at any stage in life? And that's really what you're trying to heal from. But you need a crutch or a finger to point at something or someone. Most of the people here, they blame socioeconomic factors, skin color, your general usual capitalism. They use the word privilege, etc. And to me, it just, to be honest, sounds like a massive cope. It's pointing fingers here, there, everywhere. But socioeconomic factors do not change the laws of thermodynamics. If you eat too much food, you will get fat. Being fat is objectively very unhealthy and very dangerous. If you are fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit. You need to eat less and do more exercise. It is black and white. I don't care what you want to blame. I don't care what finger you want to point. I don't care how emotional you get or what your reasoning is. Being fat is objectively unhealthy and you need to change. At the same time, being healthy, being in good shape will do so much for you, will teach you so much discipline, will push you into so many different areas of your life. Because I've had this conversation before with a friend, and being in an aggressive deficit especially strips life to its raw and most pure form. You appreciate the things like cardio, getting a sweat on. You appreciate the things like warmth. You appreciate the things like a coffee or tea in the morning, your 0-calorie drinks, actual nutritious food, and time, because time seems longer between your next meals when you get down to that point. It strips life down to the basics and it just makes you appreciate things more. So when you actually finally do start to eat again, or if you have like a day off and you're out for dinner with your friends or a meal with your family, you really appreciate it because it makes you slow down and realize that because you went without it for so long and you craved it. You're like, these are the things that matter in life. I suppose the title of this might be, I don't know if I delivered as strong of a message as I originally intended to, but this is raw one take, so I just wanted to voice my thoughts while they were there. But you do not understand how good it feels to take your top off in the gym, or in the change rooms, or just post a video, whatever it may be, and to be in undeniably good shape because you built it. Nobody can ever take that away from you, seeing what you created. And this is the thing, once you go in a really big deficit, I always use the analogy of clearing out a room or renovating the room. You get all the shit you didn't want in it in the first place out of it, so there's nothing there that you don't want, and then you can rebuild. And the next time you go into a deficit, it won't need to be as long, it won't need to be as aggressive because you already have that new physique, new canvas. You can literally reinvent yourself, and it teaches you really, because you have to be so specific about what food you eat, it teaches you what food you can actually break down, what food is best for your gut, what food makes you feel good, energized, what food you actually really like and appreciate, and how going too low on the carbs, what it does to your body in terms of energy. You really, really start to see that. Fats what it does to how you feel, okay? Bodily functions. And fiber as another one. What not having that full feeling in your gut, and obviously the fiber and fat are kind of related in terms of the bile production, bowel movements, etc. But it just strips everything down to its basics, and there's nothing like it. So my advice to you, if you need a misogi, just firm it, go right into the trenches, get as lean as you possibly can, and rebuild from there. And the reversal is really hard, but that's a video for a different day. Makes you appreciate the zero cal drinks as well. Shout out to whoever invented these. No, you're not going to get cancer if you drink them. It's been... Anyway, different debate, but yeah. It strips everything. An aggressive deficit will strip everything. I can't even speak. That's what I get for trying to say it again. I'll try again. Whew, I can do this. An aggressive deficit will strip everything down to its basic, most pure form, and it'll make you appreciate these small things like a cold drink or a warm meal. And I think that's, in a world where everything's so accessible and we take these things for granted, I think it's possibly one of the best things you can do, because it's very difficult and the process is beautiful, and the result gives you a feeling that nobody else can experience for you, but it just gives you a feeling that can't be described. So yeah, go get abs, guys.